in the seminary. Most of my experience, maybe I should just share with you what, I've often asked, why does the bishop call me? I mean, to go, so I guess he thinks I'm crazy enough to go to the person. But I've had, I do prayer for healing with people, and we get a decent turnout. Usually, the churches get full for nights of healing and forgiveness. We have confessions, and we have, but sometimes things happen that aren't along the line of a physical type thing, and you wonder what's going on. I mean, and personally, I'd like to sidestep it, but you can't. I get called when I was in campus ministry for 11 years. I get called saying, "We want you to come over and bless our room." And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Blessing of your room is like a Band-Aid for cancer. I mean, the real things that the devil hates is confession and Eucharist. I mean, if you're Catholic, those are your atom bombs against the devil. And once you get into that, then I'll come over and bless your room." One time, I was at Kutztown University, and these three gals come over and say, Father, we were playing with the Ouija board, and it said, go see the campus priest. How did I make the Ouija board? And I just, I reflected on it while they were still there, and I said, you know what? I bet you your mom or dad are praying for you right now. And they got a commercial in on the Ouija board. So I guess, however you want to look at it. There's two distinctions, and here are the two books that I go from. The guy's name is Francis McNutt. He was a priest, and he got laicized and got married. Has 2 daughters now, but grandchildren, but he still works in the healing ministry, but he doesn't function as a priest. This is like the Bible for people who do prayer for healing. And in chapter 15, which he expounds upon, for a full book on this one, he was a Dominican. And he talks about deliverance. And he makes a distinction between exorcism and deliverance. He said, exorcism is a formal ecclesiastical church prayer to free a person possessed by evil spirits. Possessed by evil spirits. Deliverance is a process mainly through prayer of freeing a person who is oppressed or infested by evil spirits but not possessed. But not possessed. So you're oppressed but not possessed. Like in this documentary, which I know it's a dramatized documentary, just to bring the diary alive, but you have a possession. And if he finished up the film, it said that Father Bowdern had over 200 referred over. Did you see that? Was it on? Oh, it was there? Over 200 cases the rest of his life, and he never had one repeat like that. Never another one like that, because it was probably the devil himself. Now, does the devil exist? Well, according to July 10, 1975, the document came out from the, what I said, reissued by the Vatican on the there is Satan, there is a devil, there is a person, there's a fallen angel, there's a Lucifer, there is Satan, and he does exist, not just in evil things or evil compilation of sin, but there's an actual entity that you deal with. And that was, the only reason I remember is because that's the day my dad died. But anyway, William McNamara, who's a Discalced Carmelite, that means he wears sandals instead of shoes. He said that when he saw the movie, I didn't see the hands go, how many saw the actual Exorcist? The drama, I mean, not this, but I mean the Exorcist. Because when you went into that, I don't know but we went into the theater up in Allentown. They had a stretcher with oxygen and the whole 9 yards out there in the vestibule. Like you're going to, I mean, like, talk about, like, dramatizing it. But his point was, when we had him on retreat this Father William McNamara, he thought that not the girl with in that there's a girl who's possessed, whose head swivels 360 degrees and spits out pea green soup. She's always throwing up pea green soup. And that's what you always remember, right? And he said that he felt that the mother was pretty poison. She was more possessed than the child because she was sneaky possessed. She let anything go by, did no protection, and everything was fine. Oh, you want to do a Ouija board? Fine. You want to get in a Wiccan? Fine. And we just, and you know, am I saying the Ouija board is, I don't know much about the Ouija board other than I appeared on it as a commercial that one time with my students. But I went to the Philippines last January, and you see a lot of it, a lot more. People fall over, they writhe on the floor, and things of that sort. And one fella, I mean, he sees walls pulsate. I never saw him, you know, I never saw the walls pulsate, but and I don't know exactly what's going on with him. We pray with him, and we see what happens. But he didn't writhe on the floor. When I was in Minersville, Pennsylvania, September of 2009, I mean, usually there's like 400 or 500 people in church that I'm praying with for healing. And you don't have too much time with each one. If I prayed with each one, I mean, it would take forever. Yeah. And we start at 7, we end up around 9:30, and this one woman went down, and she started writhing. And then her bowels let loose, and her bladder let loose. No, it was pretty smelly. I mean, you see, you never get, you don't get the smells over these documentaries. But you gotta go, oh, gee. So I moved on, and let other people pray with her, because there was a lot of people here. So then a group of people were praying with her over in front of the Blessed Sacrament after everybody pretty much, the church was empty. I went back into the sacristy, I pulled out the baptismal rite, you know. Believe it or not, every time you see a baptism, you see a prayer of exorcism. Because that's the one, you know, after you say, I believe in God the Father, you know, all that. At the end of that, or the intercession of the saints, there's a prayer of exorcism that you say. And so believe it or not, I said that to her, and she was writhing still. When I said that prayer, everything stopped. Everything stopped. I saw her. Well, there was cakes and coffee afterwards. Father Kim was with me that night, right? Yeah. And she was perfectly fine. Now, I heard the history later on that she had a child of hers die maybe 10 years prior, and I don't know what, but it started with that somehow. Now, you know, it can be a mixture of things. You can have neurosis, psychosis, and it's just a different degree of psychological illness. But if it's caused by demonic possession, you have to somewhere in all the treatment include a prayer for deliverance. Just if you discern, and that's a big part of it, if you discern that this thing is not just a psychological illness, it's also from the evil one, then somewhere along the line you got to do that. You got to do the prayer for deliverance. But anyway, those are the things that I thought of while I was watching it, and I also gave you this is an outline of chapter 15, so I figured you didn't want to do books, but here